Here we are another Sunday, and we are making easy meatloaf. I have about 2 pounds of ground beef here, a little under that, maybe 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, somewhere in there. I have some green peppers, onions, and celery chopped up. I have 2 eggs beaten. We're going to be using onion dip mix, a packet of beef bouillon. This is about 1/2 cup of Italian breadcrumbs. I have some fresh parsley in here, but I also use dry parsley as well. We will be adding garlic powder, Italian seasoning, and some some black pepper. So this will be the flavoring that will be included in my meatloaf. And then at the end, I know some people use a barbecue sauce. My twist on meatloaf is we use a spaghetti sauce to top our meatloaf. And instead of a barbecue sauce or a tomatoey sauce, some people use tomato sauce to top it, or tomato paste, or tomato soup. We use a spaghetti sauce to top it. And so now we're going to mix our ingredients. So I've chopped that ground beef up, just spread it out a bit. This is about 1/2 of a green pepper, 1/2 of an onion, 2 stalks of celery, and a few chopped parsley leaves. I had some chopped parsley left from a spaghetti that I had made, and so I just used a little bit that I have. That's why I'm going to also add to this some dry parsley as well. And again, I don't have an exact amount that I put. I spread out my ground beef, and then I make sure every bit gets some of that seasoning. So that was the dry parsley. And now I'm going to put, this is Italian seasoning. So Italian seasoning has basil, oregano, a little bit of those other things that I want flavoring in. So I give that a sprinkle. This is some garlic powder. Sometimes I put fresh garlic in. I still may put a few cloves of fresh garlic in. I love flavor, and so I do cook with that garlic. And then we're going to add this entire packet of onion soup mix, and you just spread that out, right? That whole packet. Some people use the beefy onion mix. I find that to be a little too salty for my taste, even though this onion mix is already going to be salty. But the beefy one, I'm not a fan of. If I do use the beefy one, it's usually about 1/2 of that I use, because it can overpower your meat. And this packet of beef bouillon, I'm not going to put this whole packet in here either. So again, the flavoring goes a long way. Whenever I can, I want the flavor, but I want to cut down on the amount of salt that I'm adding to my food. I'm going to sprinkle, this is Italian breadcrumbs. And so I'm going to sprinkle 1/2 cup. And this is 2 beaten eggs. I'm going to put that whole thing in there. And then to add some more moisture, to make sure my meat doesn't dry out, I put a splash of ketchup in there. That was about a tablespoon full of ketchup. And I just begin to mix this throughout the meat, all of that seasoning, the onions, the green peppers, the spices. I'm going to mix that. Some people say don't over mix, because you're going to make your meat, sort of tough. But I don't think you could do that with ground beef, as much moisture as we put in here. But I also don't think it's overly necessary to do a lot of mixing, because this stuff goes a long way when you mix your ground beef in here. And so again, this meatloaf will last about till Thursday, when we make it into our loaf. See, I mixed it, and now I'm just creating our loaf while still mixing that egg and all of that seasoning in there. The breadcrumbs are binding, and so that's really gonna hold this together. So just want to make sure that beef bouillon is ground up in there. I don't want anybody to get a taste of, you know, any of those dry herbs and clumps. So just make sure I am making my loaf into the shape that I want. And when I have it in the shape I want, I'm going to actually let this sit for a few minutes. I had some time. It's a Sunday, so this is going to be part of our Sunday dinner. If you want to have this sit longer than the 15 to 20 minutes, if you want it to sort of marinate in the flavors, you can cover this and put this in your refrigerator, and it could sit for about an hour or two, and that flavor just moves throughout. I may just do that today because I have some time. It takes meatloaf no time at all to cook, about an hour and a half to 2 hours, including prep time. So this is a very easy Sunday thing to do, and it's not a lot of time and effort to do it. And so as you can see, this loaf is coming together. I like a certain shape to mine, and it's like an oval shape. That's what I'm shooting for. My mom always made her meatloaf like this, and so I like my meatloaf to be like this. Some people like theirs in a squarey box. I do not. I like mine in this sort of oval shape, small at the top and sort of flat at the bottom with the rounded edges. I'm sure this is coming through on the video, so you see the shape of my meatloaf and what I'm going for. And again, I'm going to just let that sit. I'm probably going to cover this and put it in the refrigerator for about an hour before I put it in the oven. When I put it in the oven, I will put it in the oven covered. So it will be covered for about 45 minutes. Then I will uncover it. I will put my spaghetti sauce on there, which again is my secret. I do not put barbecue sauce, and I don't like tomato soup. And so we put some of that spaghetti sauce over the top, let it cook for another 15 to 20 minutes, and voila, you have perfect meatloaf. This is what this looks like when I'm going to pour this over. So again, you do it however much you want, but my husband likes to dip his meatloaf in his sauce. So he likes to have a little bit around his meatloaf, and so we cover the meatloaf in the sauce. Make sure it goes all around. This will cook for another 10 or so minutes, just so the flavor of that bakes into the meatloaf, and then we are done with our meatloaf.